We begin tonight with the administration's two-front legal campaign, not to defend itself, but to lessen the reasons it has to. The president has issued executive orders targeting law firms and says one has agreed to his terms. Two others are fighting the orders. The Attorney General and Speaker of the House have mused about ways to minimize or remove judges who have ruled against the administration. Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins me now to work through all of this. Scott, let's start with the executive orders. What do they do?
In some cases, they strip these major law firms of the security clearances needed and used by the attorneys. In other cases, it strips the law firms of the ability to do work in government buildings or do work with government clients. That sounds pretty arcane, John, but the law firms argue that's a death sentence for a law firm to not be able to do business with the government or not have a security clearance. And the law firms say the president knows that, is trying to knock them out of business. He's making the argument in the executive orders that the law firms are politicized or engaged in lawfare. They deny that accusation, but say even so, that's a violation of the First Amendment. The government cannot be knocking out businesses based on the political nature of speech.
Scott, what kind of work do these firms do that would be affected by these rulings?
This is going to impact people in communities across the country. These are law firms that challenge the government. What does that mean? If you have a VA benefit that's late, you may need to sue the government. Your Social Security check doesn't come through. You lose a job as a federal worker or have a back pay issue. You have to sue the government sometimes to get the money you're due. There may not be lawyers to take those jobs. Take a listen to one of the attorneys who handles those types of gigs, Pam Keith of Washington, D.C. There's fewer of you now on the battlefield. Why is that?
Because the risks are getting far higher than the rewards. These laws are not written to make it easy to sue the government, to sue large employers. It's not easy.
Attorney Pamela Keith is not part of one of those firms that's been targeted right now by the president. But, John, she's arguing it has a chilling effect beyond the firms that are named. There may be others who don't want to take a client who wants to take on the federal government.
And also recently, Scott, we've seen a kind of a broader pressure on the judicial system itself from allies of the president. Update us on that.
In an effort by some to criticize the judges, there's a concern that they're discrediting the judges. If public officials accuse judges of being political or radicals, there's a concern that'll be modeled by others. They'll lose faith in the courts, or that those judges, John, could be targeted for violence by supporters of the politicians who are vitriolically criticizing them.